Back in October when the Eagles played the Dolphins, he was asked, like, hey, if that whole thing was a little different, timing was different, would you have just stayed in Philadelphia? I can't confirm or deny it. Well, I think we know the dominoes have played out now. He was going to be their coordinator if Gannon was just honest, right? Like, I'm going to take the interview with the Cardinals. I'm probably going to go. He probably would have waited for the Eagles job. Well, the Eagles thought Gannon was coming back because they didn't think he was going to Arizona. They said, Vic, good luck in Miami. And then, well, here we are a year later as he's, and according to Adam Schefter, he's heading up today to sign that contract.
Yeah, he's coming on it is Thursday. But you know what's funny? I wonder how that conversation went when he just left Miami, because he just left. I'm tired of being here in this warm weather. I'm out.
I want to go home.
I'm going back to Philly. Because he's from Pennsylvania, isn't he?
He is, and apparently he's a big Phillies fan. I saw a quote from him yesterday that I think when he was on the West Coast at whatever point of his career, he wouldn't go to bed until the Phillies. Like he needed to have his Phillies fixed no matter what. He's big Phillies guy.
I don't like it down here. Too much sunshine and palm trees.
I need to get back to the
I need
cold.
some cheese steaks and some Wawa.
And the Phils. So Fangio coming back here, and Hugh's excited. I am too. Marcus Spears yesterday, ESPN, on what Fangio will bring to the Eagles.
I love Vic Fangio's experience. Nick Sirianni still is a second-year head coach who, having a guy on that staff that's been around a tremendous amount of football, obviously understands defense at a very high level, but just somebody to be a sounding board and kind of lead. We always talk about this with young head coaches, surrounding themselves with veteran coaches that's seen a lot. I like it from that standpoint. The second part is we know Vic Fangio is a guy that is going to make sure there is coverage on the top of a defense.
Yes.
And the worst thing that the Philadelphia Eagles did, as much as we talked about all of the issues, is they couldn't cover a soul. So that should immediately get fixed. And it brings some continuity to what you know as a defensive coordinator. You went from Desai to Matt Patricia last year. Now you have a constant in the building that can help Nick Sirianni tremendously.
Preach. Like, what, 33 years of coaching in the NFL or something crazy like that?
And a lot of good defense.
Like,
the Dome Patrol.
12 years of coaching in high school, college.
I don't, of all his stops, Fangio, I don't know what's the most impressive job. But those Saints defenses in the late 80s, early 90s were excellent. That early Panthers team, that expansion team that got to a title game with Sam Mills, Kevin Green, they were excellent.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was part of the Ravens defense with Bart Scott and Ray Lewis. Excellent. But I think the one for me here that stands out with his work when he was with the Niners, right? Jim Harbaugh, who, by the way, is the Chargers coach. But when Harbaugh was there, Fangio was his coordinator. Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis at linebacker.
Yeah, oh man, I love to watch those. Like Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. Those two guys were bullies, like straight up. Like I used to love to watch them.
Great
play.
Players.
They were straight up bullies, and I don't know what this defense is going to look like next year, but I'm excited to see how he gets them as close as they can possibly be. I think when I think of Coach Fangio coming here, I feel like there's going to be a bunch of young Thundercats back there playing. I don't foresee, and this is no disrespect to anybody that's playing on this team right now, but I don't think that some of the current guys that we have in the secondary right now fit what Coach Fangio wants to do. I might be wrong. This is me speculating, but I don't see Slay being here. And the reason why I say that is because of his mentality and attitude about tackling. I think that in order to play in this defense, Coach Fangio's defense, you have to be able to play. Like, you have to be able to tackle. You have to be able to play a lot of press, or some press, I should say. And you have to have a physical nature about yourself. And I think that's what he's going to bring to the table.
You know what I think of when I think of Fangio? I have the names in front of me. Vaughn Johnson, Ricky Jackson, Sam Mills, Kevin Green, Cornelius Bennett, Jamie Sharper, Bart Scott, Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis, Roquan Smith. You know what the next name needs to be? Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Yeah.
The next great linebacker. It's for Vic Fangio.
Oh, my bad.
Well, Howie would say that.
Nakobe will get a shot.
Well, they need two, right? So they could go after.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Kyle.
So they need two linebackers, right? They could go after a big-time guy, right? An early draft pick, a Jeremiah Trotter Jr. But Dean still could get a shot. They need two.
Yeah, he needs a shot. You need to me, there's not too many people that I feel that were starters this year will be looked at as starters next year in the secondary. That's just my personal feel about it.
When you're the worst pass defense, no one should
be.
Yeah,
it's and I understand that money plays a big part in some of these decisions, and some of the guys, the money might make it difficult for them not to play. But, man, if it's me, like I said, I'm going with the young cats on the corner, at the corner spots. I'm going with Ricks. I'm going with Ricks and Ringo until I can figure out what I'm going to do at that position. But I'm talking about guys that are on the squad now, guys that were here last year. That would be my first choice. I'm going to give those guys a shot. And if they show me something in training camp, it's a good chance that they'll be my starting corners when the season starts.
So there is another side to Fangio. Although there's been a ton of success, ton of longevity in the NFL. I think he's coached 8 different defenses, including one where he's a head coach in Denver. He's been around, and he's got results. I mean, Hugh mentioned the numbers earlier. He's gotten results. You do wonder, is he still relatable? He's older now, right? We've had this discussion about other coaches. Drew Rosenhaus, here's his take on Fangio as it relates to current players.
There were quite a few players on the team that didn't necessarily get along with Fangio. And so it wasn't a great relationship with many of the players. There were some guys that loved him, but there was quite a few that didn't. It definitely wasn't a unanimous positive relationship.
So to add to that, Hugh, Emmanuel Acho tweeted this out. That was interesting. He said in talking to players, he's heard Vic has grown less relatable. He thinks Vic's a great hire, but he should hire some young position coaches around him to kind of make it work.
That. Yeah, to help relate to the players.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But the bottom line for me is this. If I was bad last year, as this defense was, I would want to get better. I got to be willing to adjust my stance a little bit. Mm-hmm. I got to be a little bit more acceptable to probably a rough coach. Tommy Brazier, man, I didn't relate to Tommy. Tommy was rough around the edges and everything, but Tommy said something to me that spoke to me on a deeper level. Hey, what do you want to be? You've been in the league a couple years now. What kind of player you want to be? And that's what we're talking about now. Now, I know a lot of guys, like I think of Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and guys like that. They're on the other side of this.
What you just said is the conversation I feel like Vic has to have with Jordan Davis.
Yes,
what do you want
there
to do?
There you go. Exactly. Now you follow me. Because the way that you've been doing it is not working. The way, like, if you want one of those guys that want to be coddled or want to be spoke to a certain way, that way is not cutting it. You're just happy to be here. Like when you talk about some defensive players, like, hey, I'm just happy to be in the league. Is that if that's what you want to be, let me know now. We can adjust that. You want guys that want to be something different. You want guys like the mentality that Brandon Graham has. He's trying to go out on top. He's trying to go out with one more Super Bowl win, get another Lombardi trophy, and keep it moving and ride off into the sunset. Those are the kind of guys that you want on this football team. And if nobody's in lockstep with that, then they probably need to go anyway.
215-592-9494. Back to the phone lines here. Twitter question sponsored by the PI Dental Center. Your smile is the first thing others see when they meet you. Learn about and schedule your evaluation at PIDentalCenter.com. How do you feel after yesterday's Eagles press conference? Better or worse about things? Do you feel any better after what happened yesterday? 60% right now. No, don't feel any better after yesterday's, what do we call that? The press conference? A debacle?
Press conference? It's a word that I can't use, but I don't think I can use it on the air.
Yeah, Kyle, what word comes to mind? What was yesterday?
I like the way you described it as it was a soft firing.
Yeah, it felt like it.
It was like basically laying the groundwork for like all the reasons that Nick Sirianni's not going to be.
I was thinking it starts with SS, but I don't think I can say that. I can't say
I think
that.
everyone feels it.
Yeah.
Bleep show. But didn't it all, it kind of felt like, in a way, just one long demotion for Nick Sirianni. It did. Being stripped of all of his responsibilities. Nobody knows what the hell he does anymore. We're going to bring in an offensive coordinator. He's going to take complete control of the offense. It felt like a long demotion.
Yeah, it feels like a separation before a divorce. I mean, it's like we're still here, we're together, but...
You mean trying to keep the kids together? Hey, mommy and daddy still together. We just don't sleep in the same room anymore.
It's all good. We just had a week-long counseling thing.
Yeah.
We're still all right.
It felt like what they did when they put Matt Patricia in charge of the defense. They're like, no, Desai's not fired. Like, yeah, he is.
He's demoted.
Our
you
head
just didn't
coach,
do it until a month.
Yeah, our head coach has been soft-fired. We got a year to play this thing out.